All right, what's up, ballers? Jacob here with AllDriveNoDrop, joined by David from Tickle, my Pickle, for episode 4. Got some cool stuff we want to talk about today, but first, David, how are you doing?
Doing good. It's a long weekend, so I can't complain. No work tomorrow, so
love the long weekends too. So it's been a rough week for me. Been sick. Been making the battle back here. It's really hard when all of us love pickleball so much we want to play, but like. Got to put the health first, and it's the weather's been nice too. That's another problem. The weather's been nice, and I think you live what state are you in?
I'm in Virginia. So I'm kind of
okay.
nearby DC.
Yep. So you have pretty much the same season I do. We have to go indoors during the fall and winter, and it's really sad when you miss some of the last nice days of the year. But I was able to get out one day this week. Probably I don't even know if I should have. We can't help ourselves sometimes, so yeah. I had to get out. But got some paddle news to deliver. I think maybe I said this last time, but the Chorus Fires are coming out in November. So, and then they have a whole bunch of other shapes, and some of the paddles they already have, because they're going to have a wide body, hybrid, and elongated, unique shapes. I think he said that they're all going to be unique shapes to Chorus. And then they're going to have their power core, which will be cool. I'm excited to see what they bring there. And then 11.624, I don't know if he's going to be able to move this fast, but it seems like he has his power core finally figured out, and he wants to bring that to market. I think he wants to try to do it soon.
I actually hit those.
Oh, you did hit them?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Oh, nice. Oh, because he's in your area, right?
Yeah, he actually just moved to North Carolina. But
no,
yeah.
Okay, what'd you think? Any spoilers or any insight?
I hit the Monarch shape.
Okay.
I like that one a lot. I only hit it for maybe 2 hours on Friday, and then tomorrow I'm using it in my men's league. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. You'll have to update us on that. But pretty promising it must be if you're using it in the men's league, right? I mean, that's
I was originally using the Monarch all court, but I think I should like this one better.
Okay, more pop and power.
It's interesting. It's like I definitely get more power on drives, but it feels more like it's a bit stiffer than the all court.
Okay,
I feel like the all court, it kind of like the ball will dig in a bit and shoot off. But with the Alpha 2, it's a bit stiffer, but it's like softer, what I'm thinking. I don't know. I was hitting them side by side like all night, and I felt I just had better control with it.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I think I did see him talk about it's not as like poppy, but it has more power, which is something interesting because most of the power paddles today are poppy. So if you had a power paddle that isn't poppy, I think a lot of people would like that because some people don't want that pop. Yeah. So you could still have that control, and it's just when you swing big, you get the power. I think that would be a really good paddle for a lot of people. Which kind of brings me into the next thing is like later on, I do want to talk about, are the Ronbus ripples worth waiting? I don't know how long they've been delayed for, like when they were originally first coming out, but it seems like they get pushed back. I got people asking me, how can I become a Ronbus Connect member? How can I avoid becoming a Ronbus Connect member? I need a ripple. I see ripples for like $350 on the Facebook Marketplace. In the buy sell trade group, people are buying ripples as a Connect member just to sell them. And I think that's kind of the problem Dong was trying to avoid, but he didn't really avoid it because he keeps doing launches to the Connect members, which it's not hard to become a Connect member. You only have to have bought a Ronbus paddle. So you get people scalping the paddles anyway. And I think he's almost making the problem worse by like continually launching through Connect members. People keep buying them and selling them for more. And it just kind of creates a bad taste everyone's mouth. Like, the only way I can get a ripple now is if I pay $100 more when it's already a $250 paddle. But we'll talk about if those are worth waiting for later. I want to talk about this UPA-A versus USAP. I mean, it kind of's been quiet lately, but I've got some numbers. Actually, this is just about PPA, and I want you to tell me if you think it's worth it. So at PPA, a PPA event, it costs $45,000 if you want your paddles to be sold at the Pickleball Central booth or just on the grounds. Do you think it's worth $45,000 at an event to sell your paddles? Like, do you think you get enough exposure?
I doubt you would make that back at all.
Yeah. Do you think the exposure is worth it? Like, you think people are seeing, oh wow, the Vulcan paddles are sold here. I should get a Vulcan now that I'm at this tournament.
I don't know. I think it's just tough because there are already like those big brands. Like people already know about Joola and Selkirk, and people that don't know, like people outside of the Pickleball Studio Discord and people that don't watch these videos, they're gonna gravitate just towards those brands. They're not really gonna care about those smaller brands.
Yeah. So, like, I guess for the established companies, maybe it makes sense to just keep doing it. So like your name's always there, but like as a new company, if you came and put your thing there, paddle there, like, are you like, especially it's weird because it's like at a tournament setting, you're not looking for a new paddle, right? Like maybe you're a spectator and you are, but like a lot of people are there to play. You're not trying. There's no way you're looking for a new paddle while you're playing because you're prepared with the paddle already. So I don't know. I guess you just figure it's advertising, but that kind of leads me to the next thing. I think they're looking for 3 sponsors to pay $1.7 million over 4 years to be like their title sponsors. Mm-hmm. Do you think that gets a return on the money? And I just want to point out that Vulcan's been a big sponsor. And can you tell me how many people you've seen playing with Vulcan paddles around you?
Only the people that I've sold those Vulcan paddles, or people have given those paddles away as gifts for. So yes, I've seen some people, but like, like the V740s or whatever, even now, like they just came out with the thermoforms. There's nothing special about them, and the price is higher. So I haven't really seen them.
So I mean, I think that it's hard to know what that 1.7 million is going to get you. I just, just having the name of the paddle, like the brand's name in the streams and always hearing it, I think it can lead to a lot of sales, like if you're always hearing it. But then there's 2 brands I have in mind where I'm like, I don't know if they actually are getting any return on their investment. It's ProXR and Vulcan. Because ProXR's got to, I think they might be top 3 or 4 in sponsored players, and you see their commercials all the time if you watch the streams. I have seen like 1 person with a Pro XR paddle. Like, I just don't see people with Pro XRs, and I think it's more like, I think there's 2 things. 1, they're really expensive, and then 2, they were late to getting thermoform, and it just doesn't seem like it's connecting with people. And then Vulcan, that we just talked about, it's just, for a while there, they didn't even have a thermoform paddle. So these companies have been paying sponsorship to the PPA for a long time. So you already have proof of concept. If you don't have the paddles that are attracting players, paying sponsorship money is not going to convert people. You still have to have the paddle. And you go to look at all the other companies like Honolulu, Spartus, even 6 Zero before they started paying for sponsored. Like, they were getting people to buy the paddles without sponsorships. So I don't know. It's interesting 6 Zero decided to be a sponsor because you would have thought their sales were already really good. Like, I don't think they're going to see the return on their investment there. I mean, they already seemed like they entered the market, captured market share, and I mean, I guess maybe they have higher aspirations, and I don't know. What do you think about all that? Like, do you think that being a title sponsor really makes a difference for your paddle company?
Yeah, I think it's like, it would only work if you already have, like, if you were 6 Zero and you're like growing. But like Pro XR, they I'm assuming, did they have any other sports that they came from, or are they just pickleball?
I don't know. I know Vulcan. I was like, do they have do they do baseball too? Because I thought their hand, like, when they had the handle that they had like the tip cut off, and they said it had faster reload time.
Oh yeah, they do baseball. I just
Oh,
googled it.
okay, that's what I thought, that they said that that handle came from baseball, and they're like, yeah, this baseball handle is going to change the game because
Yeah,
I still don't
and
understand.
Vulcan too. It looks like Vulcan at baseballs and softball. I just
Yeah,
did a quick Google search, but yeah, I think for them they just have that money to throw
yeah,
around, but they just don't really have an identity with their product yet.
yeah. It's
That's the issue.
interesting that like both of them are baseball companies. And it seems like maybe that side of the house is like supporting the pickleball side for the advertising anyway, or
Yeah.
maybe there's pockets of the country that are getting tons of Vulcan and Pro XR sales, but even when you see pictures of like all these tournaments all over, I still don't see any Vulcan and Pro XR on the stand, so I don't know.
Yeah,
But
and
that's
then
just
even
yeah,
like sporting facility or like pickleball facilities that I see, like a lot of them local to here, a lot of them just have like Yola deals or
yeah,
Selkirk, so they're just only selling those two. You don't really see anyone pick up Vulcan.
yeah. I've seen obviously Yolas everywhere because they're in Lifetime, they're in a lot of the local facilities. They do a good job getting in all those facilities. I have seen some of the local facilities here. Bread and Butter seems like they're trying to make deals, especially with like independent local facilities, which kind of makes sense. That's kind of their brand. They want to work with other independent
Mm.
uh, companies. But yeah, like I think that's probably a better way of getting spending that sponsorship money, is just getting into the facilities, because if you can get your hands on the if you can get people's hands on the paddle and get them to try it, I mean that's the best way. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. And then so like whatever that sponsorship money's whatever, but like I I don't really want to see two like governing bodies for the rules. I think that the UPA-A, the create. I still don't. I'm trying to treat everything the same, like PPA, Major League Pickleball, the UPA. They're all kind of the same thing, but the UPA-A is the governing body, just in case anyone doesn't know, for PPA, and hope
Yeah.
maybe more is what they're trying to be. More PPA, MLP, and hope maybe I think they're trying to get amateurs as well.
Mm.
But the thing is, they want it. So there was a rumor, which I think was purposely leaked by UPA-A like a couple months ago, that it was going to cost $100,000 per paddle company, and then the prices per year to have your paddles be certified by UPA-A, and then there's different prices thrown around about like for each paddle itself.
Yeah.
I think I saw like 5,000, 10,000, whatever. A lot of backlash about that. People are like, that's crazy expensive. I saw recently they said it was going to be 20,000 per company. That seems more reasonable. Seems a good way to stop all of the like random paddles flooding the market. At least makes you
Mm.
put in some work and thought, and if you're going to start a paddle company. But I've also heard that it's not just going to be 20,000. It seems like there's some added costs that haven't really fully been shared yet. I don't know. I don't know what the right cost is or whatever. I just don't want to see the small brands pushed out of, like, I don't want to see like UPA-A replace USAP and then smaller brands are pushed out of the way. Because when I look at like our tier list we created together, in the S tier we have Spartus, Honolulu. Let me see, what else did we have
Yeah,
in
we had
there?
6-0,
6-0.
Rhombus.
Yeah, Ronbus. So those are some smaller companies. Like 6-0 is probably big enough to pay it now, but those other companies probably wouldn't pay it. And I don't want to see like the thing about the smaller companies is they innovate way quicker, and they give us more variety, they give us more options. Like say like someone like Yola, they kind of just they create one tech and they just make it a whole bunch of shapes for their like
Mm.
for each series of paddles. Like their Gen 2s, no variation, just all the same technology, but different shapes. Gen 3, same thing. So it's like if their one set of thing doesn't work, you're really kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, I don't know, Selkirk's just kind of been doing the same thing too. Like they don't really innovate, but you get Rhombus innovating with the ripples. 6-0 was innovating. for a while there, and then obviously Sparta's innovating with their Ascension core, Honolulu innovating with their shapes, and just if you don't get that innovation from the big companies, I don't want to see UPA kind of like shutting down the small companies. But I really don't think people are going to follow the UPA, because what's the point of following their rules when it's just for, like, they don't control anything besides the PPA and MLP? Like, I don't even have a PPA that comes to my state. So, like, what am I even caring about what they say I should, if I need a UPA-A stamp? Like, they don't even come to my state. It doesn't matter. So I kind of see this a little differently than I think some people do. Like, I just don't really care what the UPA is doing, because I don't think they're going to impact my life at all, except for these Gen 3 S's, which I'm not really sure how that situation is going to be handled, since they're not USAP approved, but it seems like a lot of people are just playing with them anyway. I don't really have a problem with it, but I think that's kind of like the first conflict of, like, how do you see that situation going? Like, do you care if people are playing with the Gen 3 S's, or any thoughts on everything?
So funny thing was, actually this happened on Friday, but there's a local tournament that's happening, and I guess these tournaments, they don't really know what rule to go by, and so they were not sure if they should ban like the Joola paddles or not. And I think they just ended up doing a poll, and the poll was basically, most people said I don't care.
Yeah.
But the person that's running the tournament is just like really against those paddles. And the rule he made was, if you can play them, but if your opponent feels unsafe, you have to switch paddles. Which kind of doesn't make sense. Like, if you like get to the finals and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't want to play because you need to switch paddles, and just like throw you off. So yeah, I think it doesn't really affect, you know, most people because they don't play PPAs. But then when it comes to local tournaments, I guess they don't really know what guidelines to follow. You know, like, do we do what the actual pros are doing, or do we do what the amateurs are doing, or do we do our own thing? But even then, like, if we play by these rules, like, how valid is this tournament? So it becomes all those questions.
I think local tournaments should just follow the USAP guidelines, because I mean, they're already following those for most of the rules. Like, I've never played a tournament and they're like, oh, we're going to have lets in this tournament, where the PPA does have lets. So I think when you start mixing and matching the rules, it just gets confusing. And I don't have a problem playing with people in the Gen 3 S's. They're fine. You know, it's like they're toned down of the Gen 3s. That's fine. I think the problem is you start getting more paddles approved by UPA-A that aren't approved by USAP. It becomes a lot to manage. Like, okay, like, which ones are allowed, which ones aren't. So I think all the amateur tournaments should just stick to USAP rules, or they should stick to UPA-A rules, which is basically following USAP rules right now, and plus a little bit more, I guess. But I think you just, like, I don't want, like, all the tournament directors seem to be a little, not all, but like a lot, are just kind of like wishy-washy. They don't want to make a decision. It's just simple. Pick one way or the other. That way everyone knows, like, okay, this facility, they run tournaments this way. This tournament, you know. And at the end of the day, most paddles are approved for both right now. It's just those Gen 3s, Gen 3S's, but it's going to be more in the future, I'm sure. And that's pretty shady too, how UPA handled the Gen 3S's situation. It seems like they just only worked with Joola and then didn't tell anyone else, like, hey, we're going to get a special approval for Joola.
Yeah.
But we didn't even tell anyone else that there's an approval process already in place. Like, see, that already, you come right out of the gate and you're already being sketchy. Like, that's another reason I'm not really for UPA-A. Like, obviously they're like, hey, Joola's our biggest sponsor. You know, I guess they're not technically the UPA-A sponsor, but they're all owned by the same company. So can we just I just kind of treat them as the same company? Like, Joola, if Joola wants something, they're going to get it with the UPA-A. That's not really a great thing for, like, ethics and, you know, or I don't know if ethics are right. It's not great for fairness. So.
Because I did see, I think it's like USAP is a not or non-profit.
Yeah, they're a
or
non-profit.
not-for-profit,
UPA is
but
for
UPA is
profit.
for-profit. Yeah.
So, I mean,
And it's like when you pay all that money to UPA for that paddle, I still don't understand like where does that money go? Like what are you doing with it? And I think if we are gonna, if companies are gonna pay that, like they need to be a lot more transparent about why the cost is this much and where's it going. Because if your goal is to limit the barrier or raise the barrier of entry for these smaller companies, there should be other ways to do it, not just through money.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, hopefully everything gets figured out. And I do think that there are too many like random paddle companies. Like they should have put some barrier in place. And I think having a monetary barrier in place makes sense. Like if 20,000 was the barrier, I think that would stop a lot of people from trying to. And it's a 20,000 a year, which I don't know how you would like go back like. Obviously, once you have the stamp on the paddle and like most of the refs don't even check to like they just see the stamp and anyone can have the stamp. Like we get paddles stamped with the USAP approval before they're approved, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know how it takes a little bit of faith in people playing in the tournament too, like that they're doing the right thing. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think USAP is going to end up winning this situation. Like people will just follow them, but I could be wrong, and UPA takes over. But it seems like most of the tournaments lately aren't following like obviously they're not following UPA, but they're not really. That's USAP certified. I only played in one tournament that was USAP certified this year, and most of them are like most of the tournaments, even bigger ones, just don't run USAP certification because like it doesn't. I don't know if it really does anything for them. It doesn't. Like I voted in the survey that we had in my local tournament. I'm like, I don't see a reason to have USAP certification because I just don't know what exactly we get out of it besides like the rating for USAP. But like no one uses that anymore. So
yeah,
I don't. Do you have any? Do you think USAP certification for a tournament's worth it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really play tournaments, but
Okay.
I mean, honestly, for me, if it's just, I mean, for me, it's like if it's local and it's close by and convenient, I'll probably do it. But I wouldn't care if it's certified or not.
Yeah, I mean, the more thing I would want is like play a tournament with a ref in it once in a while. Like the tournaments I've played, like there's never a ref, and I'm like, man, sometimes I'm like, what are we really playing a tournament? Because like the foot faults are the real thing that we need to know if people are doing. And if there's
I was terrified my first time I played with a ref, and then I was so happy. I was like, I didn't get a call for a single foot fault, but I probably just jinxed myself just now.
I've only played, so it was like 2 years ago, like one of the first tournaments I played, I had a ref, and I haven't had one since. And I think I got called for maybe 1 foot fault, but a lot. I thought I was going to get called all day, but yeah, I didn't get called too much. Do have a tournament this week. I'll talk about, actually, I'll just segue that into... Do you think sandbagging is a problem since we're already talking about tournaments? But you said you don't play that many tournaments, so...
Yeah, I mean, I play
you talk to people that play tournaments, I'm sure.
Yeah.
On Reddit, if you go to Reddit, sandbagging's an epidemic, and like we might all be dead soon because there's so many sandbaggers.
Yeah, there's always a lot, especially like if you go to, I think like a PPA event or even an EPP, and you're trying to play like 4-0, like it's really, you're going to have like 4 or 5s down there too.
Yeah.
So.
I think sandbagging is a bigger problem at the APP and PPA tournaments and then like local tournaments. I think people play the right level because they want to get the right competition, and then the people playing at the PPA and APP, they pay more money. They don't want to waste their time because they're usually APP's I think round robin now, but before most of the stuff was double elimination, so they want to like get eliminated really quick and spend all that money for nothing. But at the end of the day, if you're sandbagging and you're going to play a tournament where you know you're going to win the bracket, I just don't see a point of doing it because you get a medal, you don't get money in an amateur tournament, so there's really no point. So if you do sandbag, it's just you're kind of wasting your time. Like that's how I see it.
I think people just want it for the clout, they just want to post on Instagram and tag the company so they got the medal for them.
Yeah, I guess like maybe you're trying to build up for a sponsorship or something. You're like, yeah, I'm always on the medals. I don't know. It just I always see it as pointless. It's like I do the tournament for like to get that the competition, and if you go do it and it's just like, oh, I'm favored like 1,000 to 1 to win this tournament, it's like, come on, what? And it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
but I don't think I think it's not a problem in local tournaments usually. Big tournaments, I don't know how you fix it. That's up to them. I say it's not even worth playing those big tournaments usually. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think for us locally, I don't know about you guys in Michigan, but I think like a lot of times it's either 4-0 or 4-5. It's like it stops there and then it goes to open. Like we don't have a 5-0 or above, so like anything above 4-0 or even sometimes 4-5 is just open. I think that helps stop the sandbagging. So just a lot of people, like if you're a higher level, you play open, and if you're just, if you're actually 4-0, you'll do that 4-0.
Yeah, so I've seen lately, it seems like you have the 4-0 bracket, and then they do 4-5 plus open. So it's like you don't really have a 4-5, which kind of makes it hard sometimes. And sometimes you're 4-5 to 5-0, but then you have people 5-0 to 5-5 in there. But yeah, there's really no perfect way to do it because sometimes you struggle to get enough of the higher level teams to get in your tournament. But yeah, there's at this point I've played the only this stuff that's 4-5 plus usually, or whatever the open is, and there's usually like really pretty good teams in there. So no sandbagging. But I think that you play like the 4-5 or 4-0 in like these bigger tournaments, there's usually not sandbagging because like the guys that like, especially for men's, like the guys that really want to do it, they're trying to play the 5-0 or the open, like they're like just trying to go for it. Haven't really seen any sandbaggers around lately, but I don't play any of the PPA or APP tournaments, so I wouldn't have seen it. But whatever, it's really not a big deal. Hopefully they're like people start using Duper and just get more games into it, because like some tournaments, I know Pickleball Brackets is putting the games in now, but even this summer I had a tournament, did men's and mixed, they didn't put any of the results in the Duper, and it was on Pickleball Brackets. So
yeah, I've had a lot like that.
So I was hopefully everyone just starts putting them in there so that you have like accurate ratings, and then if you're a tournament director and you see someone sandbagging, just take them out. Like you don't need to worry. Like I see some posts on Reddit too, it's like I'm 4-5 and my girlfriend's a 3-0, what bracket should we play in? And I'm like, they're out. The answer is always the same. It's like you shouldn't play together in a tournament. It doesn't make sense. Like just play for fun together and get better, and together it's too big of a skill gap to play a tournament together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all my thoughts on that. Not really, I don't know. It's kind of like the topic that you'll always see pop up.
And I think like with local communities, the pickleball community isn't too big, at least for here. It's like if you play in a lot of those same tournaments and you're sandbagging, like people are gonna know who you are, and you're just gonna have that bad rep. Everyone's gonna know you.
It was like that here, but honestly, like it's been growing so much. Every time I look at I go to look at like a tournament, I see names I've never seen before, and it's just been growing at a really rapid pace here. I think this year we're on track to have like 5 or 6 new facilities in like the Metro Detroit area, which is pretty insane. Like last winter there was like 2 places to play. Now there's going to be like 8 places to play. So just been growing at an insane rate in this area. I mean, I think the demand was already there. It's just like there's more and more people playing, and people realize like, oh, there's not enough places to play in the winter. But we'll see. But let's go on to some paddles. Just want to talk about first the KiwiLabs
the circuit. Right?
Circuit, yeah, right here. This design is one of my favorite designs. I will say that. Like I really enjoy the artwork on this. And every time I like just have it out, people will just like grab it to look at it just because it looks so good. So props to there, because like most of these carbon fiber paddles, people don't really try too hard on the designs. Enjoy that. It says they say it's a Gen 2.9 paddle. Just kind of joking around with the whole Gen 2 and 3 things. It's got the rainbow shape. So like, what is it? I think it's like here, like that. Would you say that's? I think that's kind of what the foam is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. That's
it's
right.
like
Yeah.
that. So one thing I did notice is like hitting right here. I felt like it was a lot different than hitting. I mean, this is just in general too. Like the sweet spot's going to be farther up. It's not
Mhm.
I guess it's not elongated. It's 16.4, right?
Yeah, it's a
So
hybrid.
yeah, so it's a hybrid. It's a skinny hybrid, but like it felt drastically different hitting right here than right here. I don't know if you noticed that, and I think it's because of the foam. I kind of wish there was more foam in it. Super lightweight. This is a 14 millimeter. They have it in 16 millimeter too. I like the paddle, and it gets better power than I thought it was going to get for being so light.
Mhm.
And pretty good pop. Sweet spot seems like it's fine. I wonder if they should have put more foam in to make it like it just felt it felt not consistent for me. Like just the ball was coming off the paddle differently more than usual for like just compared to other paddles. Like I just wasn't getting consistent shots with it when I was
Mhm.
connecting like in the sweet spot like up here it's fine, but like anywhere like down here it just was drastically different for me. So that was kind of a problem I was having if I wasn't getting the best part of the sweet spot. How did you experience it with this paddle?
Yeah, so this was one of the paddles I used for like my blind first look video. Probably release that sometime next week. But I brought that out, and so I knew it had that foam core,
Yeah.
but I didn't tell anyone else. And uh, three people that hit it were just like, "What is this thing? It's fine." Because the other paddles I had all had like basically every paddle I brought had some sort of like new tech in it,
Okay.
and they were just like, "You just brought a random 14 millimeter here." So that was most people's impression. One person thought it was pretty nice. I personally hit it for one game. I didn't really notice anything new about it, but it's one of those like out of those first looks that I'm going to take a deeper look into.
Gotcha.
I'll probably be hitting it more, but I thought it felt a bit soft. But then I remembered, oh yeah, it's a 14 millimeter, so it's that was probably expected, or as soft as in like didn't have that much power. But that's
Yeah.
because everything else was like a 16 millimeter power paddle.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely doesn't have like the what you think of Jet 3 power.
yeah,
It doesn't have that power. And definitely needs to be weighted up in my opinion. Like it's pretty
yeah,
flimsy without weight.
yeah,
But
for
it does
sure.
come low. It's a low swing weight, low stock weight, so it has room to be put weight. I wish I had the 16 because I think the 16 would have been better.
Does it come in 16?
Yeah, I guess it comes in 16, so
Oh,
I think the 16 would have been better. You would probably have more foam in there, a little bit more thickness. I just elongate like usually elongated that are 14. I don't think I've really had a thin elongated that I've enjoyed. I can't think of one right now. Have you had a thin elongated you like?
I don't know really like thin paddles
Yeah,
in general, except just the Olympus is the
yeah.
only one I'm really using.
I
And
can't think
I
of
guess
any
the
thin
Ripple.
elong. I always think like it just like I don't know many people that play with thin elongated paddles. There's not that many out there, but it just doesn't seem like a.
Oh, actually, in the Engage Pursuit Pro, the MX, I like that one.
Oh, okay, there you go. We got one.
Yeah,
But yeah, interesting design. They have a good budget paddle too, under 100. 00 start, I think it's called.
yeah, zero to
Yes.
start.
So.
That's their 14 millimeter Gen 1.
Oh, okay. So interesting stuff. I'll try to hit it more, but that's kind of my first thoughts about that one.
Mm.
Yeah, so this behind me, you see this boxing glove, this Dynasty, this
Yeah, I was about to ask.
contacted me. Very bold, right? And then the
Yeah.
Joker behind me is also from Dynasty. So I if the I'll probably tell this to him, but if the Dynasty owner is watching, too much writing and stuff. Like I just want like I would be fine if you just had the picture, but I think there's too much going on here. It doesn't look good. Like no one needs this writing. You have your company's name on the side, right? Carbon friction service, the heavyweight champ T700. It's too big. If you really need it, like smaller, maybe in black, it just is too busy, I think.
Yeah.
Are you in agreement? Like it's too busy right here.
Yeah, I think there's just too much going on there.
Like this is already pretty bold. I feel like if you're gonna go bold, it should just be this and like keep it simple like this. And also, I was worried because this is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look up what he sent me because he said that this wasn't gonna affect the spin because like this is gritty, this is smooth, and I'm like, most people are gonna be like, well,
yeah, that's the issue with those graphics.
Yeah, he said that it doesn't affect the spin because something. I'll have to go look, but I played with it for a couple games. Had a friend play with the two, and then I used the Joker. Or I think that one's called the midweight champ. This is the heavyweight champ.
Mm-hmm.
So these are poppy. Pretty good pop. Definitely above average on the pop. The power is not Gen 3 power, which I think was... I don't want to... I better not say that was the quote, but I believe that Gen 3 power was implied for these. Unless these break in, these are not Gen 3 power. It's just average thermoform power.
So when they say Gen 3 power, are they talking like Joola level, or are they talking like bottom of the bottom, like power tier, like
that's
Olympus?
what I'll have to clarify, because I feel like if you tell me it's Gen 3 power, I feel like it's just kind of like you're trying to imply that it's like the Joola Gen 3 power. But because otherwise you got to clarify, like, oh, I think it's the power of a Gen 3 this paddle, like tell me what paddle you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll clarify that, but not too powerful. Good pop. Obviously these designs are going to be hit or miss for some people, but that's my first take on those. If you do end up hitting these, let me know. That's it on that. Pretty light week for me on paddles because I only got to play once. So that's kind of all I have right now. Is there any other paddle you want to talk about before we talk about the ripples?
Did I tell you about the J Jubilee?
Oh, no, but I did see a couple of pictures of that. Go ahead and talk about it because it did look interesting.
Yeah, so that was another one of those blind look paddles. I actually really like that one. That was my favorite one of that video, but it's what they're calling is aluminum surface.
Okay.
But from my understanding, it's the same thing. It looks exactly like the Shogun. So it's just polyester, but they're calling it aluminum for marketing purposes. So it's basically the titanium.
Yeah.
But they also have the hyper foam edge wall. So they also have that like Gen 3 wall. So right now I'm trying to break that in. Right now it feels a lot like the Shogun, but I'm hoping it breaks in soon. It's been 2 play sessions. I'll probably get more next week and see if it becomes a power paddle. But so far it feels a bit plusher than the Shogun. And I think if it goes for 130, it's going to be a solid option. But we'll see if it actually becomes a power paddle.
Is it poppy already?
Not yet. It's like right now it's like it feels softer than than the Shogun, and I've been hitting them like side by side.
I wouldn't think it's gonna break in that much because even like the gearbox and the Joolas, like they already came out like pretty decently hot. Like it's not like it was a huge. I mean, it was a break in, but it's not like it wasn't already hitting pretty hard.
Yeah, I just want to give it some time because it's only been 2 sessions with that, and then give it a chance. Same with like the Kiwi, give that a few more play sessions, see how it plays out.
Yeah, for sure. It's like one play session. I don't have anything in recent memory, but like I've definitely had my opinion change quite a bit over a couple play sessions because just sometimes like you're not on that day, and it just can ruin your interpretation of any paddle if you're not playing good. So
yeah. But yeah, speaking of, I guess you mentioned like paddles that have that Gen 3 power. One other brand that I've been trying to break in, and that I actually emailed them about it because they sent me the picture of the paddle, and it was basically the same graphic as the Gen 3 of the core. They mentioned a trampoline effect. They showed the inside, and It's called the AMA NXT1.
Okay.
I think AMA is like one of those like Chinese manufacturers.
Yeah.
They don't even have a website. I think. I think this might be like available on eBay or like Alibaba or something. But I hit that one for 6 play sessions. That is not a Gen 3. It's just a Gen 2. And I think that's like an issue. I think a lot of companies are promoting this like edge foam wall that matches Joola, but I don't think they're potentially just not doing it right or something. Because
I wonder if they're just straight up stealing what the images from Joola, and they're just saying it, but they're like, nope, it's just we're selling the same paddle, but we're telling you it has this technology in it.
Yeah, maybe I just need to cut this open and see if they're telling the truth. But
cut it open. Let's see it.
Right. Yeah.
No, I wanted to cut the ripple open, but it's I don't know. I don't really have. I don't know if have you cut anything open.
Not safely, but when I delaminated. Okay, so the first paddle I broke was the Franklin Signature, the old one, because that was a Gen 1, so that was pretty easy to take apart. Yep. But then the Vatic Pro V7, because I did laminate a few of those, like right when that whole thing started. I had one that was just figured I'd take it apart. I don't even know. It was so unsafe because the carbon fiber like strand just shot everywhere. But yeah,
that's kind of what I'm worried about.
Yeah. I do not recommend doing it without like gloves and like actual tools, goggles.
Yeah. I don't know. I know some people that can work a saw probably a little bit better than me, so I might have to enlist their help.
Yeah, I would outsource this to someone. I wouldn't try to do that.
I'm not exactly the handyman tool guy, so we'll have to see. Oh, actually, I do have a question for you, because I know usually you get the Vatic stuff early. I did hear that they have a new paddle coming out, which was the first time I've heard of it. Have you hit that yet, or have any knowledge about it?
I actually don't. Someone messaged me and asked me. They're like, "Hey, you must know." And I was like, "Oh, you're the first one that told me," because I haven't been checking that Discord.
Yeah, I just heard about it today, and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know they had any plans, because I've seen nothing from them in a bit." So, all right, we'll find out. I messaged Daryl to get in on see what's going on, but we'll find out. I mean, I'm sure he has something spicy cooked up. Maybe because you would think like if Don could have changed his ripple, maybe he could have changed his Onis. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Like, could he change? Because he only had 16s, right, for Onis?
Yeah.
Like, could he have made a 14 Oni? I still don't know exactly why the 16 ripple doesn't pass, but the 14 does. So, like, maybe they can do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Now, my last really thing about paddles, this thing. This Ronbus ripple, everyone wants to talk about. Everyone messaging me about it, always asking me, should I wait for the ripple or should I get this paddle? That is the question on a lot of people's minds these days. It's probably the most important question facing our nation right now. Do you wait for the ripple or you buy another paddle? What do you think? Yes or no? Just kidding.
I would go for it because it's something that's different. Like it's a new tech.
So you'd wait.
Yeah, I would wait for it.
So I always ask, like I don't like when people ask me like this or that paddle and they give me no other information, because I'm like, well, it really depends, because what do you want out of the paddle? Like, unless they're like both just two like, very comparable paddles, I need more information. Please give me more information when you ask me that question. And I'm sure David would like more information when you ask him this paddle or this paddle, because I'm sure he asks the follow-up, what are you looking for? What's your play style? I'm sure he asked the same thing. Am I right? Do you get that question a lot?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
I figured. One, I've also seen people asking, my paddle, it has these ripples in it. Is this normal? Guys, it's called a ripple, all right? Yes, they're fine. This is how it's intended to be. It's this is the foam ripples. I've seen. I don't know if you've seen that. I've seen that question quite a bit now. People think that there's something wrong with the paddle, and I'm like, did you do any? Like, you're a Ronbus Connect member, right? Or maybe
you're supposed to be reading.
Like, yeah, shouldn't you be reading what you're buying? I don't know. So I have mine weighted up all around, you know, with tungsten tape, the 0.5 per gram per inch strip, because it's so light stock. I don't like it stock, especially the R1 stock is like, I don't think it's that great. But with this weighted up and the power and the pop it gets, like, yeah, it's good. If you love like the Gen 3 Scorpius, I think this is worth waiting for. My problem with it is it's so hot that sometimes I feel like, yes, you know, like you're going, so what this paddle does well, the R1 and R2, you're going to be able to put the ball away better than almost any other paddle. Maybe the, you know, a gearbox like your Pro Power elongated, yes, it's going to put it away too, but the sweet spots are so much better on these than the gearbox. And then I think the power is more consistent for me than like the mod. Like, I like these better. The problem for me is sometimes I feel like I'm not winning as many points as I could be because I'm making errors because it's so hot. Like, I played a lot yesterday with this and the ESQ 12.7. Both weighted up the same way. Both very similar shapes, if not like the exact same dimensions. And I think I played better with the ESQ, but this is me coming off a week break. Very small sample size. And they was pretty close. But some of these shots you can hit with the Ripple, like when you hit some of these drives and serves you can hit with the Ripple, are pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like you'll literally have people be like, "Wow, I didn't think you could hit that shot." I'd be like, "Well, I usually can't, but with this paddle I can." So, is it worth waiting? It depends. I think that it's going to be very popular. I just still don't know when it's going to come out. So, like, I don't want to tell you to wait when I don't know when it's going to come out. But yes, they're going to be very good. They're also expensive. People are going to like them. Are you going to play better with it? I don't know. That's probably.
I don't think so at all. I think that's a no for like 99% of people.
Yeah, like the thing is, you're going to feel like, wow, I'm amazing. I'm an amazing player a couple of games because you're going to hit some shots you can't hit with other paddles. But I think more often than not, you might end up losing more points because you can't control it. And I think I might play. So I have a tournament coming up this weekend, playing mixed, and I might use it in the tournament just so I can really get that stress test of like, how does this perform in a competitive setting under pressure? Just so I can answer that question better. Like, is this a paddle you can actually play competitively with if you're not, you know, like say someone in the high to mid 5.0 range. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Now that I'm saying it, I feel like I have to go play with it now. If I'll bring backup paddles though, in case it's not going well. But yeah, it's really good. I don't know if you're gonna play better with it, but it doesn't really seem like anyone. Sometimes people care. They're just like, I want all the power I can get. I still don't think that's the best way to play for everyone, but I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I've just had like everyone has demoed my Ripple at this point. It's like the most requested demo that people have asked to try out, and just everyone just keeps asking like, "Oh, when can I buy this?" Everyone has really liked it so far, and there's one guy I play with. His name's Han, but he hits really hard, and he's just in love with the Ripple. So he has his own because he's a Ronbus Connect member, and people just get scared when he comes out because people just like bring out the glasses and they're at the net and they're just like, I'm just here trying to stay alive. I'm not even trying to win the hands battle. I'm just here trying to not get hit by you. And they'll try to let the ball go, but then, you know, the spin is just insane. It's still dropping it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun paddle for sure.
I've had the most body bags in my life playing with this paddle, and it's like, one, it's because you're like counter punches, it's coming off so fast, but two, from like the mid court and it's sometimes even the baseline, you can drive it right at them and they don't have time to move.
Yeah.
So that's like just a shot you can go for. You can just, I'd be like, it's not going in, but it doesn't matter because I can hit you before you can move.
Yeah, actually, in that short I posted when I was playing with a Ripple, so the Han was actually using it on the other side, and there's just one ball. Like it was definitely going up, but I could not do anything. Like
Yeah.
I had to put the paddle up so I just didn't get hit, and I just got like basically did it to protect my body. Like I was like I don't care if I lose this point. I just don't want to get hit right now.
I mean that. It's funny. I did a power paddle video, and I asked like, where do you think power should be capped? And it seems like it's kind of split 50-50. Like people are like, oh, cap it at the mod, cap it at the gearbox, or some people are like, oh, no cap. I'm like, there needs to be a cap, because if I can just start hitting people with the ball and you don't have, like, the only way you can move out of the way is if you decide to move before I touch the ball. You need to duck below the net before I touch the ball. Otherwise, I can hit you with the Ripple. I think that's a problem. Like, if the power goes higher than that, because it's like you can't really, you're not playing a game at that point. But it was interesting.
Have that every other sport, right? Like, I'm pretty sure like badminton, tennis, like all those racket sports probably capped at power.
Oh yeah, and like I mean, like, but how they do the testing is different, you know, obviously. But like baseball pros took away metal bats. You got to play with wooden bats because the game's just not the same. Tennis, I don't know how that works, but I know there's certain rules. Like, I think there was a string that people were using that was too powerful or too much spin or whatever, and you're not allowed to use it anymore. Bowling, it's not like a power cap, obviously, but there's a weight cap on your ball. And I don't know any of the other rules. I just know that there's a weight cap because I used to bowl, but it's been a long time. Let's see what else. I don't know. I'm sure there's cap somehow in badminton and table tennis. I'm sure there's a cap something too. But it's just like at the end of the day, power. If the ball's going too fast, you can't play the game because you can't react. Like I hate when I'm playing and I literally just can't react to the ball. You also lose a lot of defense on resets. Like, when I get an overhead with this Ripple, it's not coming back, usually. It does come back sometimes, but for some people, it's never coming back. Like, some of these guys cranking it with the Ripple, it's never coming back.
Yeah.
So,
I see, like, James Ignatowicz deflate another ball.
Oh, yeah. It'd be interesting to see him play with the Ripple.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if any pros get through with a Ripple. I'm sure someone in singles might break through with that Ripple R1. I could see it. I could see someone doing that. But there's no answer. I'm just, like, if you want to wait. If you don't, or you want to become a Ronbus Connect member, I think either way, if you buy it, you probably won't have a problem selling it because I think they're going to be out of stock, even once they do a public launch. So I think you'll be able to sell it if you don't like it. I don't think I have anything else for this episode. That's all the paddle stuff. Going to be a busy November, I think. November into December with the Neonic launches, Chorus launches, 11.6.24 launches. I think there's some others. Like, I know Gherkin. They got some new. They redesigned their silicone paddles. I really hope that Tickle, my Pickle, and Gherkin Pickleball can collab on those.
I need to reach out. I think we were.
Did they reach out?
Names. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I'll do it like after.
No, I'll just tell them. I'm like, come on, guys, like, you're missing a big opportunity.
Yeah, I think it fits well with the brand.
Yeah, maybe they need to know your favorite type of pickle before they'll work with you.
I'll go do some research and do some taste testing. I'll reach out to them.
See, they're missing an opportunity. They could offer a jar of pickles with each paddle purchase, like Bread and Butter does with the hot sauce.
Oh yeah.
You can have that idea for free, Gherkin Pickleball. Just send me a jar of pickles as a thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, or are we good to go?
I think we're good. Just gonna be using that Alpha 2 tomorrow. Continue hitting the bread and butter paddles. I got that care package.
Oh yeah, I
them,
did see that. You got all three, right? Or you got? I guess there's not. There's no loco right now, but you got the loco
but
sauce.
they did some in the hot sauce.
Okay.
So been able to do the taste test on that.
Okay, give me a quick ranking on the hot sauces, 1 to 3.
1 is the Oishi sauce. 2 is the Fat Boy one. 3 is the Loco one. 3 is none of them are bad. It's just the Loco one was the least interesting to me. But the other 2 just had a bit more like I don't know. They just stood out a bit more.
I agree. The Oishi sauce was my favorite by far. Like I actually ate that whole bottle. I think I still have some of the Fat Boy sauce. It's not bad. I don't personally use like a vinegar type hot sauce too often, so
Funny, that's how I rank their paddles too. So
that's how you rank the paddles too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably how
the Loco was the least interesting one out of the 3. So
well, I'll be interested to see how the new Loco, or not, I guess it's not called the Loco, the Invader. Did you see that?
Yeah, we gotta see the design. It actually looks really nice.
Yeah, I think the design's pretty cool. I just don't know how different it's gonna be. So it's titanium, right? I don't know how different it's gonna be than like the J2 Ti. Am I missing another hybrid? I thought there's another hybrid. I just did the video.
There is actually.
There's the Valor Pro from next gen. I guess that's it.
Isn't someone else coming out with a titanium hybrid? I don't know why I'm blanking on this. There's somebody.
Neonic is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was Neonic. That's what it was.
Yeah. So we'll see how much different it is from that, and then obviously the branding and the logo go a long way for people, and then we'll definitely we'll do maybe we'll get the hot sauce at the same time. We can do a reaction live taste testing. That'd be interesting. I'm sure the people really want that. What did you taste test? Did you do any chicken wings, or what are we talking about?
What did I do? I just had eggs.
Okay.
Just like scrambled eggs and then some avocados.
Yeah, that's one I've had fun with, because I did the taste for the Oishi sauce. I just tasted it, but then like the Fat Boy, I was
you did the wings, right?
Yeah, I did wings with my in-laws. We had we went over there and had a party. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna do a video, guys, and everyone was into it. So I hope I get that sauce at a good time. Actually, I'll have to ask them. I have a baby shower to go to in November. I'll be seeing a lot of family. That'd be a good time to get the sauce and get people's reactions. I don't know if anyone actually cares, but I had fun doing it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's definitely like one of the most fun things. I enjoy it. Just having that extra thing from the paddle company, just getting that hot sauce in the box, and they got stickers and the beer koozie. I mean, yeah, it's fun. But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you a lot for joining me today, David.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Everyone go check out Tickle My Pickle YouTube channel. Link in the description to go subscribe and check him out. And everyone else, have a great day. Go play a ton of pickleball this week. And then I'll have a recap of my tournament next week on this. And then if I record on Sunday. But everyone wish me luck, because I need to go win.
Yeah, if you record, we can live react to you.
So it's in group. So I think there's going to be 2 groups. There's 12 teams. And there will be a medal round. If I make it when I make it to that gold medal match, I'll record that. But I found recording tournament stuff, it doesn't seem like people really care unless it's a big tournament. So it's kind of not worth the time. But I will record the gold medal match, and then I can play some clips from it during the podcast if it's really good. Especially if I do end up playing with the Ripple, maybe, and then
for sure
talk about that. But if not the Ripple, I'll have my Spartus Olympus in my bag. I'll have the J2K, and then actually I think I'll have the Paddletech ESQ 12.7 in my bag as well.
You doing J2K over J2 Ti?
Yes, because I've had more time on it. And but now that I think about it, maybe it makes more sense. So I kind of think about this like, do you golf at all?
No.
Okay.
I've
kind of like take it as like I have these different paddles. They're my different clubs for different scenarios. But in mixed, I just don't see a scenario where I need like the softer control of the J2
Exactly. No, I feel the same way.
I don't like if they're coming at me. I feel like there's just no way that the J2 Ti is going to be like in mixed is going to be a paddle that's going to win me the. Like I could do fine with it, but like I feel like J2 Ti definitely for men's, you gotta play that a lot more resets, a lot more touch. But in mixed where I'm being the aggressor, I think the Ripple, the Olympus, the ESQ are definitely going to shine better. So, and then the J2K, what scenario would I bring that out? Maybe if my shots are just off and I'm just like, man, I need a little bit more touch. The power paddles aren't working today, because I did play not my last mixed tournament, but the second to last. I played with the J2K and I did really well. So we'll just see. I just bring them. I just feel better knowing I have it all in my bag. Do you bring different paddles to your tournaments, or do you?
Yeah, okay. I always have like backups.
Okay. Yeah, like sometimes I'll bring. I know a lot of people like to bring the same, but for me, like I know like I have different ones that do different things, and I can kind of adjust if I think like I need something different. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's just like that psychological boost. You're like, oh, if I switch to this, like I'm definitely going to play better this way. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Everyone have a good day. Go play some pickleball. And till next week. Peace.
Yeah, see you guys.